Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Real Talk. My name is Stephen Meade. I'm the managing broker here at Domicile real estate for people who love houses. Big news this week, and I wanted to just kind of rip this one from the headlines. Bank of America has announced a zero down, zero closing cost mortgage for first time home buyers. And we're going to talk about it. Is this a savior or is it a scam? And with Bank of America, you may not be able to tell immediately. All kidding aside, these programs are not for everybody, and I want to talk just for a second about why are we even talking about this. There are two things that I am personally passionate about in real estate. Number one is architectural properties, and if you watch this channel, you know that. The second thing is homeownership. I believe in homeownership. I think that homeownership is the best way for people to obtain wealth and stability in their lives. I think it improves communities to have people who own the property that they live in. I think homeownership really should be a top priority of society. I think it helps a lot of people to achieve that goal. And nationally, minority homeownership runs about 30% less, 30 points under the homeownership rate for white people. And I think that that is really messed up. I think that I want to see everybody have the ability to be a homeowner. And so we really believe in homeownership here at Domicile Real Estate. So let's get into this. Let's talk about what this is and what it isn't. I know it's been making some headlines. So this is a program from Bank of America that helps fulfill something called their Community Reinvestment Act obligations. What is the Community Reinvestment Act? It's a law that was passed that basically says banks, especially bigger banks, are required to, in a good amount, with a healthy amount of money, reinvest that money in underserved communities. That means that money goes towards making loans, towards grant programs, towards all kinds of things designed to increase their investment in certain portions of the community in which they operate that are underserved. There are actually a ton of first-time homebuyer programs that are actually funded by the Community Reinvestment Act. It's been around long enough that people are always talking about modernizing the Community Reinvestment Act. And a lot of banks run these programs internally, but they also sometimes will actually give money to third-party charities in order to have them help fulfill that Community Reinvestment Act obligation. So every bank has a dollar amount that they're required based on their size and some other factors. So this is a new program from Bank of America that is designed to be part of that Community Reinvestment Act lending. And I think it's important to understand not only how this program works, but how a lot of these Community Reinvestment Acts programs work. And a lot of whether this is useful to you depends on your situation and where you're looking to buy. So basically, it depends a lot about your income and sort of parameters related to you, and then also the physical location that you're looking to buy in. So let's break that down for a second. This is called the Community Reinvestment Act, and it's designed to serve underserved communities. So already right there, you know that this program is going to have a geographic element to it. So they are launching this as a pilot program in several cities. Los Angeles is one of those pilot cities, but this program doesn't apply to every location in the city. And the way they determine whether a property is eligible for this type of loan is actually based on something called a census tract. And basically, census tracts are kind of like a neighborhood measurement, right? We actually have a little graphic here, I think, that we're going to throw up. And a census tract, there's some key demographic information and income information. One is, what is the median income of that census tract? What is the 80% of the median income of that census tract? And what this does is this determines, is this an underserved neighborhood and area or not? And Bank of America hasn't exactly released this, but there are a number of programs that basically what their sort of rule is for this, and I think the Bank of America program will end up being similar. They look at the median income for something called a metropolitan statistic area or the county. So the metropolitan statistic area for Los Angeles is like Los Angeles and Long Beach and kind of that whole sort of LA basin area. and they look at the median income for that area, and then they look at the median income for this census tract. And if that number for that particular neighborhood is below a certain threshold, a lot of times it's 80%, then that is an eligible census tract, right? So it basically says if this is an area that is depressed relative to the whole of Los Angeles, the LA basin, or Los Angeles County, then that census tract is eligible for investment, and Bank of America is willing to do this program in that area. So that's number one requirement of this program. Number two is income. So not only do they look at the median income of where you're buying, but also the median income of the person buying the house. And Bank of America has not released this, but a lot of times these programs, there's certain terms that are used. So, for example, low income is frequently a definition used to describe 80% of area median income. So if you're below 80%, that would be considered a low income. Moderate income is considered 80% to 120%, or sometimes 125% of area median income. So if you hear this term moderate income housing, they're talking about housing that's designed for people who are in that 80 to 120 or 125% range. There's also a very low income designation and then a high income designation as well, but those probably won't apply to this program. So if you meet these two eligibility requirements, number one, does your median income meet the requirement, which might be moderate income? And to give you an idea, in the Los Angeles, median income for that metropolitan statistical area, I think it's about 120% is about $120,000 a year. So these are not tiny incomes, right? If they use moderate income as the definition, I think a lot of people might be helped by this. This might actually help quite a bit of people that are kind of stuck in that sort of underserved middle, right? They don't qualify for really cheap housing programs, but they struggle to really make something happen. So is this program a scam or a savior? And a lot of this really depends on your situation. From my experience, the number one bottleneck for people who are looking to buy a home is cash on hand. It's not that they don't make enough money. It's not that they have lousy credit. It's that based on their current expenses, it's next to impossible to save enough money for a down payment and closing costs. So on that hand, I'm going to applaud Bank of America for creating a program that I think actually addresses one of the number one bottlenecks for people to buy their first home. On the downside of programs like this, they require a lot more work and strategy, right? For example, you might qualify in one area for a program like this, but not qualify in another. And if you're in the LA basin, you may actually be able to cross over, say, into Orange County, where the median income for that metropolitan statistical area is quite a bit higher than for LA. So you might not qualify in Los Angeles, but when they expand this program to Orange County, you may very well qualify for the Orange County version of this program. So there's kind of a lot more work and strategy in figuring this out. You might also find that you qualify if they index it to the census tract income. You might qualify in one census tract and not qualify in another. And it can be a little bit complicated to figure that out. So definitely there's a bit more work and strategy involved. The other thing is this requires flexibility. This program will very likely come with a loan cap of $647,200. That is the current conforming loan limit. This program applies to single-family properties, not necessarily single-family homes. So this would mean a condo is a single-family property. What it will not work for are multi-unit properties like a duplex or a triplex or a quadplex, where you might own all the units, you live in one and you rent out the rest. Those will not qualify. But condos, townhomes, and single-family homes are expected to qualify for this program. But it also means there's some flexibility, right, required on you. You might not be buying in the neighborhood that you've always dreamed in. This might not be your first choice. But I look at it as this is one of those programs for people who are struggling to just get that bottom rung on that homeownership ladder. Like they're jumping, they're reaching as high as they can, and they're just not quite able to get there. This is the kind of program that can get you started on that journey. And there's one other thing about this program that I really like. So a lot of these affordable housing type programs that are designed to help people They really come in two flavors. The first flavor is like this. It's a program that is basically, it's a traditional purchase, but it's a special loan, and they're just giving you a little bit of a nudge to help you get there. The second type of program is something called affordable deeded housing. So these are homes that actually have a deed restriction on them where they can only be sold to people that meet certain income requirements. And what I don't like about these types of programs is that they often limit your abilities when you go to sell. So these sort of deed restricted programs are very restrictive in the long run, whereas a program like this Bank of America program, on the other end, it doesn't have any of these sale restrictions on it. So Bank of America has not given us a huge amount of details on this just yet. I do think this could be a very valuable program for you. If you are out there or you know someone who is looking to buy their first home and thinks they can just do this on their own without help, that's what we're here for. We believe in homeownership. We're here to help people and really kind of figure out a plan. Even if they're not able to buy for 12 or 24 months, we want to meet with people as early as possible, because you really have to plan to make this happen. It's not easy to buy a house in the Southern California area, but it's definitely possible. It's definitely doable, especially for the people willing to put in the work, the effort, and the energy. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for watching. Questions, comments, we love them. We have a link down below if you'd like to schedule a 15-minute, no cost, no obligation chat with us. It's done via Zoom. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. We'd love to talk to you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And yeah, definitely send this video along to someone you think it would be useful for. If you like the information in here, definitely share it. We'll see you again real soon.